Now a problem based on geometry. A circle is drawn inside a trapezium such that it touches all the four sides of trapezium. The line joining the midpoints of the non-parallel sides divides the trapezium in two parts with areas in the ratio 3:5. If the length of non-parallel sides are 6 and 10, then what is the length of the longer parallel side of the trapezium? Right? So first of all, what I do, I just draw a line, this. That is, the line joining the midpoints of non-parallel sides divide the trapezium into two parts. The area of upper portion and area of lower portion are in the ratio 3:5. Now the length of non-parallel sides are 6 and 10. That means one of them, maybe this is 6 and this is 10, right? Now this problem will take just 30 to 40 seconds to solve if you are conceptually clear about the properties of trapezium, right? Now what's that, right? See, in any quadrilateral, not specifically for trapezium, in any quadrilateral, if we talk about, if sum of these two should be equal to sum of these two, then only a circle can be inscribed. Getting my point? Sum of these two should be equal to sum of these two, then only the circle can be inscribed. Otherwise, circle cannot be inscribed, right? Suppose this is a quadrilateral A, B, C, D. Then A plus C must be equal to B plus D. Then only a circle can be inscribed in the quadrilateral. Maybe it is a trapezium, maybe it is a parallelogram, maybe it is a rhombus, whatever is the figure, or any other simple quadrilateral, right? So see, over here it is not given that this plus this will be 16, right? But what is given over here? A circle is inscribed in this, right? Now a circle is inscribed in this, that means this plus this must be equal to this and this, right? So I suppose this to be x, then this must be 16 minus x, right? So the story of circle over here, that a circle is drawn inside a trapezium, is just giving you the clue that sum of these two is 16, right? Otherwise there is no use of the circle. You can see it very well, right? After that, the line joining the midpoint, see, this is the midpoint. This complete length is 6, this complete length is 10, so this is the midpoint. One more theorem we are going to use over here. Listen to me carefully. Now I have drawn a line over here, that is line BC. See, this is the midpoint of this line and this is the midpoint of this line. That means this line is passing through the midpoint of BC as well, right? That means this length, according to the midpoint theorem, this length will be half of this length. This length, I suppose it is P, so this will be half of this length. Similarly, this length is x and this length will be half of this length, right? Getting my point? This length is half of this length and this length is half of this length. That means this combined length, the entire length from this point to this point will be half of this plus this. Now this plus this is what? 16. That means this length must be 8. So the entire length from this point to this point is 8. Okay, this is according to midpoint theorem. Now since this line is passing through the midpoint, that means this length will be equal to this length, right? So I assume this to be, say, a y. So this will also be y, right? Now what is the formula of area of trapezium? That is sum of parallel sides into distance between them, half sum of parallel lines. That means if we talk about area of this, it will be 8 plus x into y, right? Sum of parallel sides, that is 8 plus 16 minus x, that is half of 24 minus x into y is, and the ratio is given as 3/5. Okay. Now simply you can solve it. 5 8s are 40 plus 5x is equal to 72 minus 3x. So 8x is equal to 72 minus 40, that's 32. That means x is equal to 4. So this is 4, this is 12, right? So we are asked about the longer parallel sides, so that will be 12, right? So the work left for you is this much only. Okay, but this concept and this concept you must be knowing, right? If a line is passing through the midpoints of non-parallel side, the length of this line is half of this, or we can say this length plus this length by 2 will be the length of the line. Okay, I'm sure you're clear. Now this question, all the 2-digit natural numbers whose unit digit is greater than the tens digit are selected. If all these numbers are written one after the other in a series, how many digits are there in the resulting number? Now the smallest 2-digit number with this property that unit digit is greater, it's 12, right? And the entire series will go till 19. So in all there are 8 numbers. Similarly, the next line will start from 23 to 29. So there are 7 numbers. After that, 34 to 39, 6 numbers. Now the series will go on like this only. So it's the series, the line of 11, then it is line of 21, it is line of 31, then it is line of 41, 51, 61, 71 and 81. Don't have to calculate each and every because the series will move like this only. So there are how many numbers? From 1 to 8, sum of natural numbers will be 8 into 9 by 2, that's 36. So there are 36 number and each number is having 2 digits. So in all 72 digits will be there in the number, right? A very simple problem, friends. Similarly, this problem, there are 5 consecutive integers a, b, c, d, e such that from a to e the series is in ascending order, and this relationship is given. What are the possible values of b, right? Now instead of making any equations, what you can do is you assume the value of b from options, right? That is, either you can assume 0 or 11 or -1, right? So if, just listen to me carefully, it's if b is 0, if b is 0, that means a must be -1 and c must be 1. So this relationship will not be satisfied because this will be 1 plus 0 plus 1 and here we'll be having 2 square plus 3 square, right? So 0 is cancelled out. That means 0, these two options are cancelled out, right? Now let's try by -1. Suppose I put the value of b as -1, then this a square will be -2. So that's 4 plus 1, then c will be 0, d square, d will be 1. So d square will be 1 and e square will be 2 square, that's 4. So the relationship is satisfied. That means the possible value of b is -1, that is for sure. Now we don't have even a single option where only -1 is given. So we need to choose option D. You don't have to check for 11 because that will be an unnecessary time wastage, right? We don't have -1 separately, so -1 and 11 is the correct choice, option D. I hope you are clear. Do not make any sort of equations because it will be really a time consuming process to solve an equation. Okay. Now we have a classic problem based on geometry. In the regular hexagon shown below, what is the ratio of area of the smaller circle to that of the bigger circle? I just complete the diagram. Wait for a moment. Now I completed the figure. See, in this case, I assume the radius of this circle to be r and this circle to be small r, right? Now this complete length, I assume it to be 2, so it will be 1, and over here this length will also be 1. Now since the triangle inside that hexagon is an equilateral triangle, so this complete angle is 60 degree, that means this must be 30 degree, right? In this case, this complete angle is 60 and just listen to me carefully, this complete angle is 120, right? The internal angle of the hexagon, this complete angle is 130. Out of that, 60 is taken by this triangle, 30 is this part and 30 is this part. That means this entire part is 30. So by symmetric, we can say this part of the triangle, that is this, must be 15 degree because the figure is symmetric, right? So this is R. Now we can calculate the area very easily. This angle is 15, this is 30. Now if I have to find out the area of the bigger circle, what I will do? See, relationship between this and this is given by tan theta. So tan 30 degree is what? 1 by root 3 is R. Okay, so that is the radius of bigger circle. Similarly, in this triangle, this is R, this is 1. So ratio of this will be given by further tan theta, but the angle over here is 15 degree. So tan 15 degree is equal to R by 1, right? So R is what? Tan 15 degree. Now tan 15 degree can be calculated as tan 45 minus 30. So that's 1 minus root 3, 1 minus 1 upon root 3. So that will be root 3 minus 1 upon root 3 plus 1, right? 1 minus 1 upon root 3 or by 1 plus 1 upon root 3. So if I simplify, I'll be getting root 3 minus 1 upon root 3 plus 1. This is the radius of the smaller circle. Now since we have to find out the ratio of their areas, that is smaller by bigger, what we can do is we can square both the terms. So root 3 minus 1 by root 3 plus 1 whole square, it will be, the square of this will be 3 minus 1 minus 2 root 3 by 3 plus 1 plus 2 root 3. This by square of the bigger circle, radius of the bigger circle. So 1 by 3, so that's 3 will come over here. Now it is, this is 3 plus 1. So 4 minus 2 root 3 by 4 plus 2 root 3. So it's 2 minus root 3 upon 2 plus root 3 into this 3. I rationalize that. So 2 plus root 3 upon 2 plus root 3. So this is 4 minus 3. It will become 1. Now this is 2 plus root 3 whole square. So that is 2 square plus root 3 square plus 2 into 2 root 3. So that is 7 plus 4 root 3, option D. Okay, so 3 upon 7 plus 4 root 3. That will be the correct choice. I hope you are clear and cool problem. Great. Now a problem based on number system. 500 factorial plus this is completely divisible by 5 raised to n, where n is a natural number. How many distinct value of n are possible? Quite a simple problem. We just can find out the highest power of 5, that is contained in 500 factorial, because this is the smallest number among these 4. So how do we calculate that? 500 by 5, that's 100. Just have to take up the integral part. 500 by 5 is 20, 20 by 5 is 4, so it's 124. That means 500 factorial is divisible by 5 raised to 124. So different values of n which are possible is 124, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 124 values are possible, right? Now since this is the smallest number, so the data which will be taken as common will be this only. Okay, so 124 is the correct choice. I hope you are clear. A problem based on algebra. If x plus y is 1, what is the value of this? Now what is x plus y whole cube? That is x cube plus y cube plus 3xy xy x plus y. I put up the value of x plus y over here, that's 1. X cube plus y cube plus 3xy, x plus y is 1. So x cube plus y cube plus 3xy is 1. As simple as that. Can be solved in just 20 seconds. I hope you are clear. A simple problem based on geometry. From a point P, the tangents PQ and PT are drawn to the circle with center O and radius 2 units. From the center O and OB are drawn parallel to PQ and PT respectively. The length of the chord TQ is 2 units. Find the measure of angle AOB. That means we have to find out this angle. I just complete the diagram. And we are having the length of chord TQ, right? Now we have to find out this angle AOB. Here OT, OQ are radius, the length of them is 2 units. After that TQ is chord, the length of it is also 2 units. That means POQ is an equilateral triangle. That means angle O is 60 degree, right? Now this angle must be 90 degree because that is the angle between tangent and radius. So this angle is 90 degree. Now since this line is parallel to this line, sum of interior angle is 180. So if it is 90, it has to be 90, right? So this is 90, this is 60. Similarly, this is 90, so it must be 90. So 90 and 90, 180 plus 60, 240. That means the remaining 120 is the angle AOB, right? A very simple problem, friends. I hope you are clear. Now this problem. A trapezium DEFG is circumscribed about a circle that has center C, DM1, GN4, measure of DEF, EFG is given, find the radius of the circle. Now we assume that the radius of circle is R. So this length is R, this length is 2R, this length is R, this length is 1, MD is 1. DM will be equal to DP. From an external point to tangent should have equal length. This must be 1. GP must be 4 and GN must be, GN is also 4. From external point, both the tangent should be same. Now, see what is happening over here. What I do is coordinate of point. Suppose this is my coordinate axis. This is x-axis. This is y-axis, right? I'm just assuming them the coordinate axis and taking the positive side, right? You can rotate the figure, no problem. The coordinate of this point will be, x coordinate will be 4 plus r and y coordinate will be 0, right? Similarly, in this case, x coordinate will be r plus 1 and y coordinate will be 2r, right? Now the distance between these 2 points must be 4 plus 1, that's y. Now simply you just apply distance formula. So y2 minus y1 whole square, that is 4r square, plus r plus 1 minus 4 plus r, that is square, that is 3 square, that's 9, and square root of this must be 5, so this must be 25. So 4r square is 16, that means r square is 4, r is 2, right? So radius is 2 centimeter. A very simple problem, friends. I hope you are clear. Now the number 44 is written as a product of 5 distinct integers. If n is the sum of these 5 integers, then what is the sum of all possible values of n? Now very simple. 44 is actually 2 into 22, but we need to have 5 distinct integers. So what I have to do, it's 2 into 11 into 2. So what I do is I just take 1 and minus 1, 2 more numbers, both of them are integers, the number is negative, and 2 and 2 same, so I put a negative over here. So precisely it is minus 1 into minus 2 into 2 into 11 into 1, right? These are the 5 numbers by which we can get the product as 44. Now we have to add up all these 5 digits. So 11 plus 2, 13, 14, 14 minus 3 is 11, right? So the only possibility over here is 11, right? Sum of all the 5 numbers. Since we don't have any other option by which we can get the product of these 5 distinct integers as 44. I hope you are clear. Now, a simple problem based on ratio and proportion. 3 men are gambling in Casino Royale. They start the sums of money 765 and finish the sums of money 654 in the same order as before. One of them $1. See, in gambling, what happens? The amount, the total amount remains same. Only the distribution is changed, right? So it's 7 plus 6, 13 plus 5, 18, and this is 6 plus 5, 11 plus 4, 15, right? So I take a LCM of 18 and 15, that's 90, right? Now these 3 people, A, B, C, they are starting with, among all of them, they are having 90 rupees or $90 we can say. So it is 18, so 5 times, so it's 35, 5, 6 are 30 and 25. And after that 6, 5, 4, this is 15, so multiple of 6 only, so 36. Under 30 and 24. Now this person is winning with 1 rupee or $1. Now here we are given that this is $12 and we are having the difference of $1. That means this $1 is equivalent to $12. That means 35 how many dollars he start with? So 35 into 12, that's $420. Very simple. Seems to be complicated, but very simple problem. Now in this question, a rectangle with perimeter 88 meter is partitioned into 5 congruent rectangles as shown in the diagram. The perimeter of each rectangle, very simple problem. I assume the smaller length to be L and this length to be B, right? So precisely what is happening? L plus L plus L plus B plus L, that is 4L plus B is given as 44, that is half of the perimeter, that is length plus breadth. Apart from that, this length is B and this length is B, that is 3L. That means what is happening? 3L is equal to 2B, right? Now what we have to find out? We have to find out 2 times L plus B. So if 3L is equal to 2B, that means B will be 3 by 2L. So 4L plus 1.5L is 44. So 4 plus 1.5, 5.5L. So L is 44 by 5.5, 8, right? If L is 8, B will be 3 into 8 by 2, that is 12, right? So L plus B will be 8 plus 12, that's 20. So 2 times L plus B will be 40. That means perimeter of one rectangle will be 40. Okay.